I love this time of year because it's the time of year that we get to dream and vision and think about what our next year is going to look like. So all you people who dream about traveling, yet want to know how much it costs and how much we budget for it, this video does two things. It shares our dreams with you and shows you how we budget for our next year of travel. Come along and join us.
Yeah, absolutely. Come with us because we have been traveling for over 4 years now. And we just did a series of videos talking about our expenses and how much we spend versus our budget. And this is the video where we dream and we talk about how much we're going to spend next year, at least how much we're going to budget for the next 12 months.
And why are we talking about this in June?
We talk about this in June. Well, first of all, my name is Steve and this is Chris, and we are EatWalkLearn. And we started our travel in June of 2021. So we do our year from June through May. Right. So that's our year and the years that we use for planning and budgeting. Mm-hmm. So this is the time of year, literally, we take out a piece of paper and we say, okay, what do you want to do this year?
Yeah. Budget list or bucket list, but we don't like to call them bucket lists because we don't plan on dying. We like adventure list or what do you want to do this year? So exactly. We dream and we think about, we go through our Facebook group and we go through YouTube channels and we see what people are doing and get some ideas and we come up with a list and then we figure out how to plug it all in. And then we look at what we did last year and we kind of compare and then we come up with kind of what we want to do and a theme. Right. So the theme for our 5th year of travel is regional travel with a flavor of family.
Okay, regional. Yep. Okay,
regional
I like
travel
that.
with a flavor of family.
Yeah, and we got a lot of questions from our YouTube viewers like you who said, how do you budget for travel? How do you know where you're going to go? How do you anticipate all of your costs and do a detailed budget? So
if you've been following along now, which a lot of you have, thank you. Make sure you're subscribing and following and hitting that like button. We have done these big 4 years of all around the world. And we basically circle the world every year, in some sort of 360 sort of pattern, chasing the 72 degrees. This year, we decided we're going to change some things up a little bit, and we're going to stay a little bit more regional. We're not going to do as many collective miles for the year as we've done the first 4 years. We're going to show you this chart here about how we came up with all the things we want to do by month. And these are estimates. They're not exactly, but they kind of cover what we want to do. So right now it's June, and if you've been following, we're on this road trip in Bulgaria and Romania, and we're going to end up in Spain on a volunteer opportunity. Then in July, we're headed to Ireland for a house sit, right? Which we've been planning for quite a while. And we like to be in Ireland in the summertime because the weather's great. And then we're going to take a reposition cruise. No. We're flying this year because there were no reposition cruises back to the U.S. We'll hit all of our family and friends. We will fly on our Southwest companion passes through the U.S. So it technically doesn't cost us anything. You can watch our video up here about how to get the Southwest Companion Pass and fly for free all over the U.S. We'll be using that in the summertime when we're in the United States. Then we're going to come back and hike the Fisherman's Trail. Then from there, we're going to go up to Dublin for a graduation. After Dublin, we're headed to Greece for 3 months, where we negotiated this past summer. We were in Poros, Greece. We negotiated with some folks there for a 3-month lease, bringing our housing down to 1/3 of our normal cost for housing.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit because that is a big strategy for full-time travelers. One is to stay in one location for longer. Mm-hmm. In this particular case, we're going to be in Greece and we're going to be doing some side trips. We're going to kind of use that as a home base. But being able to stay longer means that you can negotiate better housing price. And we got a great deal on a place with a fantastic view. Can't wait to share more information with you about that.
Right. Normally the place runs about $2,000 a month, and we're getting it for $700 because we negotiated this for a 3-month lease off season. During that time, one of our bucket list items, we want to go on a a holiday Christmas cruise on the Danube through the Christmas markets. Then we will go back to Greece, maybe do some time in Italy. Again, we wanted to hit the tulips in Amsterdam. We're going to do an e-bike tour in Amsterdam, take another repositioning cruise back to the U.S. We've got some stuff back in the U.S. we need to do next summer. So that's generally the theme of the year. We've got mostly European stuff. We'll talk later in a couple of videos about how we're going to pull all that Schengen time off. stay tuned
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
That's a big news coming. And then all this time with the family in the U.S. So based on looking at this chart, you can kind of see what our accommodations are going to cost us for the year. And that begins the start of our budgeting process.
Yeah, it does. It starts the process. And again, it's about a conversation. It's about putting things down on paper. Because a lot of people, they wing it. They say, well, I don't have to worry about budgeting or I don't care about budgeting. For us, we want to be able to put it down, and we want to be able to put it down by category. So we really have to think about it. We really have to have a conversation about where we're going to go and what we're going to do. We might change our mind completely, 180 degrees.
Yeah.
We might do something completely different. But this is about the budgeting process and about setting up expectations of how much we're going to spend for the next year.
Yeah, they're kind of guide rails. And just to, as we always want to say this when we talk about money and budgeting, this budget has nothing to do with our retirement funds. We put together this budget as what we feel comfortable spending and the lifestyle we want to have. It has nothing to do with how much wealth we do or don't have, our drawdowns, our 5%, or 4%, or 20%. None of that has anything to do with how much we spend. This is the lifestyle we like, and it's the lifestyle that we pay for. So
yeah, so I want to talk about one thing, and we do have some house sitting planned for this next year. Last year we didn't do any house sitting. We maybe think we did 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The year before that we did a lot of house sitting, and kind of our strategy there. One is we don't do house sitting specifically so that we can reduce our housing budget, although it does significantly reduce our housing budget. But we enjoy the comfort of being in a house, of having pets and enjoying pets around us, and being in locations that we may not necessarily go to because they may not be affordable. Mm-hmm. And really nice communities and places that are great. So we're going to be doing some house sitting in Ireland. We're going to be doing some house sitting in the US. Then we've got some expectations that next spring we're going to be doing some additional house sittings, maybe back in the UK or in somewhere in Scandinavia, so that we can enjoy those places as well.
And if you want to know more about house sitting, watch this video or go to our website, EatWalkLearn.com, and search on house sitting. So and another assumption that we probably want to make about housing is we know that if the hotel is going to cost us more than $70, we're going to do one of three things. We're either going to have some pre-negotiated situation like we're going to do in Greece next winter. We are going to house sit because that buys our expenses down, or we're going to use points. We rarely ever pay more than $70 a night. And if we are, we're in one of those other strategies.
Yeah, and you say, wait, $70 a night? You can't stay at a Motel 6 for $70 a night. But frankly, when you're coming to Europe, and right now we're in Romania and we're getting some really nice rooms, breakfast included for about €50, which is about, $55, $60
right.
In US for really nice accommodations. So those places are available, and you can make those assumptions with experience. And that's the other thing that we have, is because we've been doing this for 4 years now, we've got the experience that we can get pretty tight with our assumptions.
Yeah.
The other thing that we're doing, like Chris said, we've got some big things that we know about. We also anticipate taking some specific cruises in the next year. And those are things you can see the prices right now, what those cruises are going to cost. We haven't put down deposits yet. We think that prices might come down a little bit more. But if for budgeting purposes, we can anticipate the price of a cruise. Now, your question is... and we've answered this a few times, is a cruise, isn't that just entertainment? Is that housing? Is that food? What do you do? How do you categorize cruises? And we break that into 4 categories. So we'll take a cruise and we'll break it up into the housing costs, transportation costs, because typically we're getting repositioning cruises that are taking us from point A to point B. So it's similar to what you pay for an airline ticket. All our meals are included, and entertainment.
And you can watch this video here about repositioning cruises, or again, on our website, we have information about repositioning cruises. So you can actually have a whole tab under cruising on our website. Okay, let's take a look at the chart. So for our 5th year budget for housing, last year we spent $17,172. we are looking at how much house sitting and cruising and stuff that we're going to do, and we put together a budget of $17,000 for the year. I think that's right on what we'll come in at.
Yeah, again, a lot of different aspects of that. We're going to spend about the same as last year's spending, because we are going to do more house sitting, but we're also anticipating some more expensive places.
Yeah, because of our bucket list items, tiptoeing through the tulips and doing the Danube on Christmas. Neither one of those is going to be 72 degrees, so we have to buy some jackets. But anyway, we know that our nightly expenses are going to be higher, and we've budgeted that in. Okay, next up is food. 3 years ago, we spent $13,517. The next year, $13,278. So basically the same number. So we said, you know what? We're going to do $14,900 this year, because we're going to do all these little one-offs while we're staying in Greece. We know that means a lot more eating out and probably trying some special foods and things. Those Christmas treats in the Christmas markets. I'm going to be eating every single one of them. So we upped our food budget for this year. And we'll see how we do.
Yeah, and that's been really consistent. And we have seen some inflation. We anticipate seeing additional inflation in food prices. So we just want to take that into consideration and not have to worry about that.
Okay, so then travel, this is the transit, the extra flights, the cruising, all of the things that move us from A to B. It even includes Uber. Our last 2 years, we were at $12,666. That's our big trip down to Australia. Was expensive. Last year, $9,393. This year, we're going to budget in at $11,200. Again, the reason why that's a little bit higher than last year, even though we're only going back and forth to the U.S. once or twice, we think we're going to be picking up some more expenses with that regional travel. Just where we stayed in Poros, Greece, where we're going to be for 3 months. It's $120 round trip for just the ferry alone to get us to Athens. So we're throwing that in and raising our regional travel budget a little bit more.
I also anticipate that we're going to be renting some cars more. So all these little things kind of they add up, and it's once you figure out where you're going to be, your geography, it's pretty easy to kind of plug in some assumptions on what your transportation is going to cost.
Yeah. So next category is health and wellness. We don't see a big change between the last 2 years and this year. Our insurance has kind of stabilized because our age brackets aren't changing in the next year. So we kind of feel like our numbers are right about where they're going to be. We're looking at around $5,600 for the year. That includes our monthly copays on our insurance. Steve's got Medicare, and I use Ginkgo, and then the occasional out-of-pocket for whatever doctor visit we might need.
Yeah, last year we did do some wellness exams in Turkey. Those cost a little bit more than we anticipated, but we don't think we're going to be doing those types of wellness checks again in the next 12 months. So we didn't plug anything in additional for that. So this is really just our typical kinds of health insurance and the things that are kind of regular on a monthly basis.
Okay, next up is shopping. I promise you, I'm not going to buy one of those wheelie, the fancy German Christmas decoration. I don't even know what they're called. They have the candles and the little guys that go around. Anyway, I'm not buying them. No,
I'm getting 2 of those. I budgeted that. It's in the budget.
Anyway, our shopping budget last 2 years, we came in right around $3,700. This year, we're just going to budget $3,600 again. This typically ends up being like shoes and clothes that we need to get.
We don't buy
aspirin. I mean, we don't even buy a lot, so it's hard to even tell you what we we spend our money on. But
yeah, we look for things like, let's spend some money on something.
And it's usually shoes.
And that leads us to our entertainment category, because that really is, we struggle with this one. It's like, we want to have fun, and we do have fun. We do have fun in we do things in a lot of free ways, like we'll go on multi-day hikes, and we'll, do a lot of, walking tours
and outdoor concerts and things, but we don't spend a lot of money on entertainment. So we asked you in our annual roundup for some suggestions for where we should spend our money on entertainment this year. You guys came up with some great ones. I mean, jump out of planes, go to concerts, go to see opera. So we're not going to jump out of a plane, but we did take some of your suggestions, and those are plugged in for the year. So we've raised our budget. Last year we spent $2,900. We raised our budget to $4,000. We're going to spend it this year, I promise.
Yes.
We're going to do it, honey. We're going to do it.
We're going to do some wild and crazy things.
Wild and crazy things. So stay tuned.
With us.
Yeah. And then the last item on the budget is bills and utilities. This has stayed pretty flat over the last 2 years. $1,500 2 years ago and $1,300 last year. This year we're going to come in at $1,500. This is just cell phone, mail, cell phone. I don't even know what else is in there. That's about it. So, all right. So our total budget for the year. So just to review, in year 3, we spent $51,766. In year 4, we spent $53,796. Both times we came in under budget, by the way.
We did.
We did.
Yes.
And this year we are going to budget $58,000. So last year we had the same budget of $58,000, and we came in under budget by $4,000. So we're taking all those cues and all those notes and putting together yet another budget of $58,000. Do you think we'll hit it? This is a fun year of regional travel with a flavor of family.
And again, it's a guideline. If we go over this budget, and we can go over by a lot, it is not going to change anything about our finances. And we'll tell you about it, because that means that we're doing some amazing stuff, because we've got some amazing
or a disaster happened. We're going to go for the fun stuff and not the disaster stuff. Okay, so if you missed our video on the roundup of our expenses, you can catch it. It's going to show up right up here. And then if you want to know more about our accommodations for last year, that shows up right up here. Everybody always wants to know where we stayed and how much money we spent. We really line itemize out all of that in our accommodations video. We will see you next month. Thank you so much for traveling along with us. And we love you, and we'll see you again.
Adios.
Adios.